Right, what's up everyone? We're back once again. So I've got another Twitch stream recap for y'all. This time we're working on the metal album Blessed Black Wings by one of my favorite all-time bands. Goated since the beginning. Just all around awesome. Could put no foot wrong. No goat hoof wrong. High on Fire. Just the best. If you don't know High on Fire, check them out right now. Alright. So we're actually doing the third studio album from them, which is called Blessed Black Wings. So the artwork is actually by a pretty famous illustrator within the metal community whose name is Arik Roper. I'll put that in the description. Definitely check him out. His work is awesome. It's spanned so many great albums. He's done work with Sleep, and you're probably seen his work on a number of things, and now you know, oh, that's that dude. So it's an awesome cover. It's a kind of really iconic cover. High on Fire got a lot of great covers for a lot of albums, but I feel like this one was especially kind of iconic. So I've actually got the t-shirt as well, so that's how much I like the cover and this band. Not a lot of trivia really to go through with it, and I kind of put that down to the fact that I feel like High on Fire, one of those bands that they just get in there and just get it done. Just steamroll through it, you know what I mean? Just write a bunch of bullshit heavy songs and just smash through it. They don't really stuff around, there's no really tricks and stuff, they're just going hard. So the album was, as I said, it's their third studio album, which was preceded by the album Surrounded by Thieves, and it's the one that comes before Death is Discommunion, which is also super popular. It was released on the 1st of February in 2005, so I was going to say not that long, but really when I think about it, that's a while ago. It's just one of those things. It was actually voted one of the greatest albums of the 21st century, Kerrang number 48. So it says voted, so I'm guessing that was like readers phoning it in or putting in the entry to vote as that, because undeniably it's awesome. So apparently the tracks Face of Oblivion and Cometh Down Hessian, the lyrics of what the song is about is actually based on, again, H.P. Lovecraft stories. So you can kind of see the influence that H.P. Lovecraft and his work and the kind of atmosphere, the things he talks about and describes and stuff is so entrenched in metal, you know, ever since Geezer Butler started to write about occult themes for Black Sabbath. That kind of stuff, that kind of occult, you know, mystic, evil, magic, you know, all that kind of stuff became part of what makes metal, you know. The heavy darkness of the music is reflected with the lyrics and the themes. And H.P. Lovecraft is just across the board super influential. Like I said in the Dope Throne video as well, not really that recognized within his lifetime for being popular or making a lot of money or recognition for what he's doing, but people really caught on later about like how great his work is. It is a massive shame that he turned out to be an idiot for some other things that he said that I won't go into here, but undeniable H.P. Lovecraft and his writing and his works have been super influential to the metal community. One thing I didn't know going into this was that the album was produced by the legendary Steve Albini. So anyone that knows anything about recording and sort of heavy music and stuff will know that name. Not only has he been a member of bands, he's in a band, sort of a cult favorite kind of band called Big Black, and another one called Shellac. Super popular, but sort of more underground, in sort of like hardcore, post-hardcore, indie kind of scenes. But he's a legendary producer. He's produced albums for Nirvana, the Pixies, Godspeed You Black Emperor, Mogwai, Neurosis, who is probably a band I really should look into for doing one of their covers, because they've got some cool stuff. And a band that I kind of like, that not super popular, they're called Zao, and he produced their album. Oh, man, I can't remember what it's called now. I should have looked that up before. He produced an album of theirs, and I got the album, and it also came with a bonus making of documentary, which is kind of cool to Steve see Steve working in studio with the bands and all that kind of stuff. This album, obviously, like the rest of their back catalog, is stellar, and I will hear no bad words about it. But there's some people out there had sort of criticized a little bit Matt's vocals, not so much the quality of them, but just how they sit in the mix. Maybe they're too low, maybe it's too bottom heavy overall and stuff, but I can't fault it. Great album, great songs. Could put it on anytime and just want to jump in a van and run over poses or something like that. So that's kind of like about all the stuff I've got really for the trivia or whatever about the album. But it's interesting to kind of segue into talking about the drawing. This work, it was sort of, it's pretty straightforward, the source material. It's a big devil on a rock, sort of cloudy sky background. So there's not really a whole lot to sink your teeth into. I did change the horns a bit, and I kind of made the wings a bit more anatomically correct, because I like the idea of giving it a bit more weight, a bit more realism. But I really couldn't decide what I wanted to do with the face. I think I had about 5 or 6 goes, or maybe more. You can see the face that's we can see on the screen now isn't actually the final one. There we go, I just change it again. I really couldn't work out the kind of vibe I wanted. That's got me with a bit more of a bat looking thing with the set apart eyes and the up front nose. The face is kind of a bit ambiguous in the original artwork, so I didn't really want to just do that. I kind of wanted to give a bit more of a slightly different kind of feel, or go into it a little bit more, have a bit more detail, a bit more character. The rock and the pose for the way the devil is sitting on it is basically the same. I did add some sort of skulls in there, you can see a bit clearer. Got through the inking process, sort of outlining everything. Now just blocking in the shadows for the wings. With wings, like demon wings and stuff, I like to think of them as like bat wings. So they're basically just flaps of skin stretched in between elongated fingers, because that's really what bat wings are. Again, see, look, change the face. Couldn't settle on it. I did sort of think about, maybe it should be a bit more like a goat skull, because that's a bit more demonic, that sort of cliche-ish kind of Baphomet kind of thing, or a goat's head. So I sort of made it a bit of a weird hybrid of like a goat head but with the skull showing through for the mouth. I thought it was kind of interesting, because it wasn't really neither here nor there. Like, sure, it's sort of a bit hairy looking demon, but then the face is quite like half skull. I don't know, I think it turned out okay in the end. Obviously putting more time into something, doing this, developing into a longer, bigger piece, I would probably do a whole bunch of different studies for the face and really explore different sort of influences. Is it more bat-like? Is it more goat-like? Is it more fish-like? It's always interesting to think about things and what influences you can take from things and apply it to different things, because that will help come up with ideas or imagery that you may not have thought to come up with. You're like, oh, he kind of looks like a bat, he's got bat wings, I'll do a bat face. It's not bad, but it might be a bit obvious. So taking inspiration from things you might not normally take inspiration from kind of works out, gives you some interesting results. The relationship to the logo, to the wing, I had to change a little bit as well to make sure it still kind of fit. I didn't really want to change how big the logo was or where the tagline was, so I did have to mangle a little bit, but I think it was not too bad. And again, the stuff that I was exploring with the Dope Throne album was trying to look through my massive backlog of brushes that I've got for Photoshop that were pretty much all free, and trying to find ones that apply the technique that I want to use, or that's a little bit different, to help set the foreground, like the figure, the focus from the background. Because I used to be the kind of thing where I'm like, I don't really want to use the same brush for everything, or the same pen or something like that. because I thought that would help bring it all together, but really what it does is it makes things kind of flat. And what you want is you want interest in a piece. You want your eye to be drawn and to sort of sink different things in as it moves around the piece, to create interest, to create movement, create tension. But if everything's done in the same way, with the same kind of brush, the same technique, it could just look really flat and really boring. So that's why it's kind of good. What I've started to try and force myself to do is think about the texture of certain things. And so, you know, if this is a cloud, it's not going to have a bunch of sketchy lines in it. You know, I've got to look at things that are a bit more softer, a bit more like a stippling, or sort of like a concrete texture, or something like that. Is it more nebulous? Is it sort of really transparent? Is it really hard? Is it hairy? Is it spiky? You know, all that kind of, just sticking a little bit about that, taking a little bit of time to think about what substance something is made from, the texture it would have on its surface, will help you to make better choices to inform how you're going to describe it. So here we go, here's the final piece. Pretty happy with it, you know. I got it done. I did struggle with the face, you know, you could see back there that was one of those things I wasn't sure about, but I got through in the end. I think it stays true pretty much to the proportion of things, and yeah, not too bad. On to the next one. The next one is a bit more intense, as you'll see. Maybe you're watching this as it comes out, maybe you're watching them all at one go, but you'll see it when it comes out. So thanks again, thanks for watching, and take it easy. Peace.